Good morning, pregame crew. It is Monday, June 27th, 6:21 a.m. Mountain Time, 8:21 a.m. Eastern Time. I'm Charcal Lori. I just got back from the best meetup on earth with all of my trading friends at Chart Guys. It was so much fun. It was actually a small percentage of my trading friends, but the ones I did get to meet, I am grateful. I got a few hours of sleep, few meaning about 3 hours. So we've got 3 cup coffee Lori this morning. Good morning. Audiovisual check, please. If you're tuning in later in the day, you may want to fast forward till this says 6:30 down here, 6:30 a.m. At that point, I'll get started on the meat and potatoes of the show with indices, commodities, crypto, and movers and shakers of the day. Let's get through some housekeeping and I'll answer a few chart requests. Good morning, Night Truck. How are you? I miss meeting you. Hey, Greg Topher. Mal, you make me laugh. Hey, Matthew and Lisa, my friend. Hey, Robert. Anu, Train Man Dan. Bonjour, Maria. Hi, Mark. I got to meet Kirkuki. Hey, Basque. MG. You punk. Hey, Night Truck. Lori is a mental midget sometimes when it comes to super physicality. So I can do it. Some I need to work on, I guess. So much fun. Good morning, AZPN. All right. What is this? What is the liquidity? And when there's a name I haven't heard before, I always check liquidity. And this is okay, 200,000. But it's a $200 name. What is that? Can't do that math this early. No. Okay, so inside bar on the daily. Resistance 19750, support 19262, resistance 282, support 19043. 1 second, let me get my bearings on this chart. Again, I haven't seen it before. This weekly lower wick is actually encouraging for bulls here. Change that color so you can see it. That lower wick of bulls buying the dip the week before last is good. And just a reminder, last week was a holiday week. We only had 4 trading days, so volume is understated, okay? It's understated, and I choose my words carefully. So let's look at AZPN as an example. So Friday it had we had 1 million shares traded last week. The prior week we had 2.35 million. So last week, if you normalize it and say, okay, if we even up the weeks, 4-day week, 5-day week, and take the average per day, last week was a super low volume week despite just having the holiday artificially lower it. So we traded 1.35 million shares less last week. So even though it was a low volume week due to holiday, it was just overall a low volume week, period. And again, just wait for that coffee to kick in and I may make a little more sense in it a little bit. Hourly RSI is not overbought, but I would be sitting up here waiting with my bear gun at $200.82. The clear top fishing area looking for an hourly lower high. ANIP. 2 names in a row I've never heard of. That never happens. Hey, Basque, how are you? Hey, Siraj. Thanks, Night Truck, for that. Hey, Costco, Mike, Paul. Okay, ANP, Biotech. Now, this is a low volume name. It had a great day Friday, double the normal volume, but it's only a $29 name, so not a lot of dollar volume trading on this one. Be careful. Bears are waiting for a daily lower high on this one. This is interesting. This is 2 names in a row y'all have asked me about, and I'm looking for top fishes in these names. When we look at our primary contenders, the primary suspects every morning we look at, Amazon, Apple, Nvidia, AMD, Tesla, they look different than these charts. So I would be looking for lower highs, and I would also look at other this is a biotech, right? This makes me think, is XBI poised to take a break? Because this name sure is. I would be looking at top fish 3120. If you're in long, I'd stay in long as long as those hourly EMAs are below me. Okay, TA. Sincere Almond, that is some funny stuff. Okay. This has a daily trend change, but no, it doesn't. It's not. It's straight from the bottom. So it got a daily higher high, but not the higher low, higher high trend confirmation. Bears will be waiting at 105.16. That is 3 names in a row for me that are top fishes. As a bull, in my opinion, there's not a lot of meat left on the bone, so I wouldn't be chasing up here. You're welcome, Basque. Oh, awesome, Michelle. I'm glad you're still going to be here. Flight to France. How fancy. BICI. BICI. What is this? A REIT. I do know what this one is. This has a good divvy. I keep this one on watch for my dad. His account, actually. Let me show you those names. And I'll go slow in case you want to screenshot it. And I'll do it in alphabetical order. So these are the divvy names. So I'm just going to take a minute and I'll pause here if you want to screenshot this. These are all the divvy names that I watch for my dad. Just to see. He has very few holdings. I'm very cautious with his account. But Vicky, you can see right here, it's on my list. I like that name in general. So we have a daily uptrend. The problem with Vicky is, or however it's called, we're looking for a weekly lower high. So yes, it's making strides on the daily. We got a daily uptrend. You could look to bottom fish a daily higher low compared to 28.50. And I'm just waiting for that weekly to pull back because I have this on my short list of names that I want for my dad. But I want it to hit 30.85. Hit it, and then pull back, and then I could scout a weekly higher low. All right, ADC. I'll get started in 2 minutes. 2 minutes on the indices. Okay, so you like your REITs. What's this divvy? 3. Is this a monthly one? Yeah, I like those monthly ones. That's a good one. This one's different. It has a weekly higher high. You see that difference? Who asked me about this one? Mike, do you see that difference? This one has that weekly higher high. So let's go out, look at the monthly. It has the monthly higher high, but not a trend change. Hourly uptrend. If you're in long, I'd stay in long as the hourly EMAs are below me. And I would wait for a pullback buy if you're interested in this name. I am short the indices, by the way. I am short ES and I am short NASDAQ. I have 2 different accounts. I have holdings in it's a long reason for me to explain why I have 2 different of the Fab 4 indices short, but I just want to let you know that I do have those short, and I'll tell you why in just a second. Get back to my pregame list. Let me get back to the chat. Inspired. Paul, I don't know how to actually answer your question. SPY Fidelity or SPY Vanguard, they track SPY. In my opinion, ES is a superior instrument because it has more trading hours. If you're going to give me an instrument that has more liquidity and more data than a comparatively twin or cousin of it, I'm going to choose the one with more trading hours, more data, more liquidity, and that ES futures. So SPY ETF tracks the ES futures, and I'm just getting some thoughts too. Fidelity and Vanguard, of those 2, from my experience, Fidelity typically has cheaper rates than Vanguard. I'm not sure. So whatever that ETF fee is, let's say that Vanguard's fee is 1% and Fidelity's fee is 0.6%. If they're both tracking SPY, you're going to make more money on Fidelity because the ETF expense or fee that's charged is a lot lower. So just factor that in. You may want to just check out what their fees are. Good morning. Yeah, hit that like button, why don't ya? Buddy, I can short stock or I play the puts if the puts are liquid and the spreads aren't very bad, like meaning that if no one else is buying, I have no one to sell to. So I need puts and calls that have liquidity, have tight spreads, and have nice volume. And if that's the case, then yes, I prefer puts over commons. So I'm an options trader first. So of the 2, when I have an option, I'm going to trade options because that's my ballywhack. Good morning, Richard. Hey, Paul. Hey, Mary. Rob. Y'all ready to get started? Let's do this. All right. I always start out on the 4-hour chart. Right now I'm starting out on the hourly chart, and I'll explain to you why I'm short the indices right now. But let me just introduce myself. I'm Chart Gal Lori. I'm part of the Chart Guys community. We teach technical analysis, and what I do here every day to the best of my ability is I go over the indices, commodities, crypto, movers and shakers of the day, and my goal is to give you a roadmap for the day for trading. Now, as soon as I turn my microphone off, more information and data enters the market, and things could change, but I hope you can stay agile enough to stay up with the market and stay along with me today. Then when I get done, I try to answer a few chart requests before Dan goes live at 7 a.m. Mountain, 9 a.m. Eastern in our community. So we have a thriving community with a little over 1,000 of my closest friends, and I got to hang out with about 80 of them this weekend, and it was pretty darn cool, if I do say so myself. So give me a follow on Twitter at ChartGalLori. Hit that like button if you can. If you're interested in my chart setup, you can click on the link below in the video description to receive a PDF explanation. I talk fast. So if you need to pause, put me on slow, do what you got to do, and I will try to help you and keep up with chat best I can. We have some awesome moderators that can also answer your questions if need be. So you see we're losing this channel on the hourly. The 30-minute is what had me go short on ES. So we hit this higher high, and I'm noticing we just keep topping out on RSI, and the bulls are trying their best to just show constraint and keep pushing it up, while bears are starting to battle now and bulls are starting to show some exhaustion. So we got that 30-minute lower high, and I was tracking this channel very closely, and I top fished this 30-minute lower high. So we got this little bitty higher high here, not on a lot of volume. We couldn't get over this level here of 39.37, so I top fished 39.37, entered short, and I'm still in short. So our 5 minutes getting oversold, so I have to be careful. We are in hourly uptrend. If we lose 39.1175, we've lost our hourly uptrend. So here's the deal. Here's the dealio. On the weekly, we are looking for a lower high compared to 42.02 right here. We're looking for a lower high compared to 42.02. We would have to have some crazy events, and it can happen, absolutely can happen, but we would have to have some pretty crazy news bites in order for this to push through 42.0225 on that first try and take it out. The odds favor a lower high, pull back, and then go on and get that higher high. Where are we at? Come on, computer. Gave you a break this weekend. So we have bounced to the 50% retrace, and all that means is bulls have bounced enough to get a potential higher low compared to the low of 36.39. So on SPY, my key level, I want to show you these gaps up here. Do you see this gap 40144? We filled this gap of 38975. We filled that gap on Friday. And I have one level that's super important to me. Was that the level? No, it's 38975. I don't know why my magnet's getting screwy, or is it just user error? Right in the middle of that sucker. A 38975. We filled that gap on Friday. Now we still have 40144. Gaps do not have to be filled, but they tend to act as magnets. So what I'm looking for this week, if I'm just going to give you a rough outline of what I'm looking for, is I'm looking for a pullback buy on SPY, looking for that weekly higher low. But the weekly lower high has to get set first. So it may not be this week. It may be next week before I can get my daily higher low bottom fish on SPY. So right now I have bear hat. I am a bear. So if you have any bull positions and they're working, you can keep them on. As long as you have an hourly uptrend, stay in that sucker. But when we start losing these hourly uptrends, we have to be cautious, and then you have to be a more patient bull looking for that pullback buy. So I said it a minute ago, and I didn't finish that thought. The most important level that I have been thumping the table on for SPY. Again, y'all, I've been at my computer all weekend, and it's just mad at me. It missed me. Dark pool level here, and it was over $11 billion that went off at 289.95. I would keep that on my chart. So as price goes up and over, it typically comes back and retests. If it comes below, it'll come back up and retest. It acts like a magnet. These large volume profile, or where a big shelf of liquidity or volume went off, price has memory. The market has memory. It likes to stay in that general area. So I would put that level on my chart if I were you. All right, that's a key SPY level. Now, it went off over here prior to dividend. However, the market, I am not adjusting for dividend in this situation. The market will plug in its algos and say 389.95 is the level. So that is my approach. You do you, boo. NQ. We've got that same. I think it was on the hourly for this one. Yeah, we have an hourly nice channel on NQ, and you can see it here on the 30-minute. We got that 30-minute lower high. Now, on a bounce, you could look to top fish 1221. And if we are in the right location, and we won't know until confirmed, we could be nailing that weekly lower high. We don't know yet. QQQ, I want to just show you we have this next gap overhead, 29923, 29923. And since I'm on the topic of gaps, you're new here? Well, welcome, Fixer. How are ya? I try to do as many of your ticker requests as I can, but the goal of this show is to rip through 25 charts in 25 minutes and get you ready for the trading day and bring to your attention setups that I see or a little bit stronger than other setups I see in the market. Sometimes y'all ask me about setups. I'm like, oh, I love that one. It's a name maybe I haven't looked at. But my goal is to get through these names as efficiently as possible. And if I have time, I'll go over. If you're a TCG member, you get your chart request answered over in the chat room 3 times a day. Morning, midstream, the pre-market show that goes into, or the morning show, again, one more cup of coffee, Lori, and then the afternoon show. So we have 3 live shows a day where we answer all of your chart requests. Okay, Apple has a gap up here at 142.53. We have to not only open, we can open above it, or we can open below it and then go fill it during regular trading hours. It won't be considered filled unless we do it during regular trading hours. So this Apple gap is super important for me today. I have 2 things I'm looking at. The SPY dark pool, 389.95. Price gets below that and gets pegged below it. That is bearish for me. And Apple, if this gap gets filled and then the bulls roll over, that will be notable for me. So that's all the gap talk there. You're welcome. I will try. RTY is an hourly channel. We're falling out of it. And guess what? 30-minute lower high. YM, 30-minute lower high. Resistance 31695. Next support 31451. NQ, I didn't call out those supports, but as always, I have them marked up typically. So that's already broken that one I had marked up. So your next support on NQ, 12127. Resistance 12221. All right, ES, I cleared those off. Resistance 393650, support 391175. Here is the fly in the ointment for the market bulls right here. What in the tarnation is going on? We're up almost 4% on VIX, and ES is up. Do you see that? ES is up, NQ is up, RTY is up, the Dow is up, and VIX is up. That's some divergence. I take note of that. Fear is in the market, but the market is just melting up. I consider what it's doing right now a melt up. Melting up with the VIX being up, that is bear divergence for the market for me. And again, that confirms that bear bias. And then I look at this and I say, okay, yeah, that SPY short that I took, top fishing that 39.36, now that really makes sense. One more thing on ES, I know I've pointed out a lot, but if you look here, the RSI is 70, almost 72 on the 4-hour on ES. On SPY, we're looking for weekly lower highs and 4 hours overbought. That's typically an area to scout a weekly lower high. My computer's tired too. And then NQ, 4-hour RSI 73, looking for a weekly lower high. That's a reverse back burner, folks. reverse back burner. And if you're a swing report member, you can remember that weekend before last, I was showing you this bull divergence on all these charts on the weekly. 3 of our 4 major indices had bull divergence weekend before last. And I was pointing out that I was looking bullish for the most part last week. So that bullish divergence played out. And now I flipped the script. I'm looking for weekly lower highs and I want to stay agile. All right, we went over that. Hang Seng was up 2.35% overnight. DAX was up 0.61. Pretty significant. The Asian market of Hang Seng up 2%. Good morning, Luciano. So, again, computer's freezing. These are the notes that I type up every morning just to make sure I stay on trend. If you are a TCG member, you see these commodities comments in commodities around 4 a.m. my time every morning, 4:30. So all of these notes are just to make sure I cover everything that I want to. So I'm pretty sure I covered everything here on indices. Now I'm going to back up a little bit. Don't forget that SPY 389.95. And I think crypto is giving us clues here. Let's go ahead and just nice segue into Bitcoin. We have 4-hour potential head and shoulders. ETH, potential. Oh, well, that was ugly. Nobody's going to hire me to draw. For sure. Potential 4-hour head and shoulders. Ethereum, potential 4-hour head and shoulders. And this looks more bearish than the indices. And crypto has given us so many wonderful clues. And in my opinion, it's given us a clue. Right now, M&Q is trying to bounce a bit here. Just a bit, but a lower high is anticipated on shorter term time frames. So crypto could be giving us a clue here with these 4-hour lower highs. And on the weekly, we have double week. Now I'm going to clear off all these levels so you can see these inside bars. So last week was the inside bar. We're opening up inside last week's range. Bitcoin, we're opening up inside last week's range. And these look like bear flags. And you know what gives it more validity are these lower highs without a lot of follow through. Doesn't even have that much follow through. I drew that too hard. So you see that? Not a lot of follow through. And you go into the 4-hour and then we see this topping pattern. It's like these rising wedges are breaking bear and or these 4-hour head and shoulders are forming. We would break the neckline on Ethereum at 1178. We'd break the neckline on Bitcoin at 20,900. Gold just keeps missing its opportunity. This is like going after the hot girl in high school. They're lobbing you up a big ball that you could just knock out the park. And they're like, hey, I'm interested in going to prom. I don't have a date. And you don't seize the opportunity. Dollar is leaving the door wide open for metals, and metals are not seizing the opportunity. Literally, they're getting big lobs. They could do a full grand slam, and they're not doing it. It just shows you the overall weakness of metals. So we have been talking about, since Jesus was a baby, these 12-hour broadening formations, and we're stuck inside these broadening formations now on the daily. It looked clearer on the 12-hour, just an FYI. Let's go look at the dollar so you can see what I'm talking about. Dollar that hasn't had this type of weakness. Look at this. I guess the beginning of May it did. So for 2 weeks in May, and then it's been up ever since. And it's just like, here you go. I'm just going to leave the door open for you, metal bulls. And they are just not stepping through. Tarnation. Oh gosh, Mike. Okay, so on the 30-minute, we're pulling down on gold. We've lost our uptrend. On the hourly, we've lost our uptrend. It's not game over for gold bulls. We do have enough room for 4-hour higher lows. So that's the one nice thing I'll say about them today. All right, we have a potential daily bear flag on oil. I think oil has some top fishing opportunities that we can look for this week. This potential daily bear flag. Now, this is some TCG gold right here. Not gold from me, gold from Dan that created the concept, or not created it, defined the process so we could clearly define potential bear flags with these higher highs with very little follow through. Look at these little upper wicks. This looks like pure bull exhaustion up here. Pure, unadulterated bull exhaustion. I think a top fish of 108.58, that area makes sense on oil, looking for the daily lower high and that potential daily bear flag. Nat Gas, it cannot get its life together whatsoever. We had that EQ. We talked about it Friday because we talked about this EQ Thursday and broke bear with great follow through. And now we're EQing out again. However, I would not position myself short here with daily approaching oversold at 32. Okay, Apple, we talked about this hedge overnight. So let me go back to my overall notes and then we'll get to some individual names. Most names that bounce 5% plus on Friday with a clear daily higher high. So they made a daily higher high and they had a very strong bounce. We could be looking for pullback buys, potential 5 or 15-minute back burner trades like Goldman Sachs. Can anybody give me any GS love Friday? Did anybody trade that? That was the best setup I've had in a long, long time. That was amazing. Let's look at it right now. So on GS, I like a 5-minute oversold. This was my chart Friday morning from North Carolina. Bring me back there, please. We had this potential 4-hour falling wedge, and we talked about how financials and semis had to step up for the market to bounce. And boy, did they step up in a big way. This was one huge move. So I like a pullback buy of GS. I like a pullback buy of MS. We talked about that chart Friday. And I said I liked GS a little bit better Friday, and it outperformed by about 0.59%, 0.6. So that's pretty good. It outperformed ever so slightly. But GS and MS, I think, are both, and AMD. We talked about AMD being a laggard buy because it was lagging the market. And then look what happened. This is Friday's heat map. Look at these percentages, y'all. So while I hover over it, you can look at that table. 5%, 2.5%, 5.64%, 4.61%, 4.94%. Then look at Apple, only up 2%. So technology was good in green, don't get me wrong, great in green. And then the semiconductors really turned on the gas. When's the last time you've seen banks up? Look, Wells Fargo was up 7.5%. GS up 5.79%. MS up 5.2%. When you see banks up that large, which they did pass that bank stress test Thursday, which we talked about Friday as another reason to look for XLF bounce, those laggard moves, we got them. And now I want to stick, I'm going to try to say this slowly so I can say it right. I want to stick with the laggards looking long. And the names that have been running pretty hard, like Apple and Amazon, those are my top fish plays. So I am looking for those extended names with 4-hour RSI extended for shorts. Names like GS and MS, yeah, they ran hard, but that was their first day of running hard. Look, they've been taking a break. Wait, GS, they've been taking a break. Before that, look at all the rest. Look at all the rest. Look at Apple. Ain't no rest for the wicked. Was that elephant? Caged elephant? Ain't no rest for the wicked, something like that. Look at that run. I am not looking for a long up here on Apple. There's no meat on the bone on that trade. Amazon. So that's basically I'm going over these names while I go over my notes. No meat left on the bone there for me. Tesla, no meat left on the bone there for me. I think top fishing 767 makes sense. Nvidia, there's meat left on the bone. I think a bottom fish buy of Friday's low makes sense, or a 5 to 15 minute back burner trade on Nvidia because it was a laggard play. Okay, so we went over those 3. So Etsy's the only name I have left as far as Queen of the Mountain, and then I'll go back to my notes. Etsy, we had a downgrade this morning. This is a clear top fish. Top fish of 84.72 or Friday's high at 83.65, whichever one floats your boat. 4 hours overbought. And we're right here, this 50 RSI, getting over it ever so slightly, looking for that weekly lower high. Let me scroll in here. You see how we're looking for a weekly lower high on Etsy? It had a great day Friday. Beautiful day. Downgrade, looking for a weekly lower high compared to 87.02. It makes sense to top fish it. All right. Now, the most important part of my show that I was going to cover at the beginning, I'm going to cover at the end because that's just how I do it. Aggressive bears are looking to top fish the morning. Conservative bulls are looking for back burner trades and or hourly higher lows. And I'm choosing semiconductors and banks to look for those hourly higher lows, not Apple, not Amazon, because they're extended and I want those laggard bulls. I'm looking for laggard bull entries, not the ones that are, huffing and puffing like they're walking up a steep cliff after going to a waterfall. Risk laden 6 weeks ahead of us. So we have one of the most action-packed 6 weeks in front of us than we've had all year, which means risk, risk, risk. So we have to be careful. I know, I can't even believe it. Q2 earnings is set to begin in 2 weeks. Banks will report first. They'll go right after July 4th, that week after they will start. And we have a holiday next Monday, by the way. Holiday next Monday. Then the week after that, banks will start. And then June 29th, Powell and Lagarde, they are supposed to be speaking, central bankers. We have a G7 meeting. July 13th, we had CPI. And y'all remember CPI last month. It rocked the market. Apple earnings, July 26th. GDP number, July 27th. FOMC rate decision, July 27th. Did you just get a headache listening to that? I did. We have a lot going on. And this could define, and I'm probably overstating this a little bit, but I do admit I'm prone to hyperbole. This could set the stage and the temperature for the rest of the year, the next 6 weeks, and how the rest of the year unfolds. Okay. I got through all my notes. All right, now I'm going to, hey, how are you? Jao Kuna. Hey, Paul. Hey, Mel. Thank you, Larry. Cage the Elephant. Yeah, that is the one. Yeah, I love that song too. Okay. I love Ain't No Risk. I wish I could play music, but I can't, all this copyright stuff. And we get nasty grams if we do it. No, I didn't see how weak back was, Chris. Let's look at it. So back still has this weekly falling wedge of sorts. Yeah, it was weak comparatively. You know, the crazy part is it was weak and still closed with a bullish engulfing candle and notable bull volume. So just recognize that. And we had a huge week. Thanks for bringing up volume. I want to show you this. So on ES, last week, again, holiday week. So we're keeping that in mind. Volume, so I want you to look right over here. Volume was 344 million. The prior week, 645 million. We had half the normal volume last week. Okay, we had 1 day off. That still doesn't make any sense. It should have been 80% of the average volume. So last week, even though holiday week, it was still overall a low volume week. So yeah, congratulations, Bulls. Woohoo, you did something great on low volume. Now do it on big volume if you want me to believe you. Okay. GS was a 5-figure win. DWZ, are you kidding me? That's awesome. What do I think of XBI? I'll tell you, and then I'm going to wrap it up. Got that weekly trend change. Daily RSI is not overbought. Oh, Lord, that's a top fish. Look at this. Stop it. You see this in the RSI? 4-hour head and shoulders. That is a clear top fish of $78. Okay, thanks for asking about that one. Now that just went on my list and replacing Tesla. XBI short will be my priority for the day. Ricky, stop spamming me, dude. I love you. Neo is up this morning. 4 hours extended. Daily's extended. I don't have a trade for Neo up here. I look at Neo every morning, by the way, especially when the Hang Seng is up 2.35% overnight. Are you kidding me? I may be blonde, but I ain't that dumb. I'm always going to look at it. But I can't tell you to trade it up here. We have a gap up here overhead at 27.35. We're losing a little bit of steam here in pre-market, but I don't like it long up here. And it's been a massive bull, so I don't know that I like it short either, so I just back away. You're welcome. All right, that's it from me. Oh, Larry David's here. We've got a star here. Curb your enthusiasm. All right. Well, don't curb your use or utilization thereof of stop losses. Use them, folks. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notify button. Bring a friend tomorrow. TCGers, I'll see you in the room.